Hello and welcome to Press TV's debate. I'm Marzi Hashimi. Thanks so much for being with us. 4 years and still going strong despite a heavy-handed crackdown. This is how the ongoing revolution in Bahrain is being described by many. After 4 years, though, not only has the government not given in, but has exacerbated its violent crackdown by using tear gas, bird pellets, torture in prison, and even stripping citizens of their Bahraini citizenship. Despite all of this repression, what motivates the people of Bahrain to endure it all and to continue to take to the streets to demand the major changes in this Persian Gulf country? Stay with us as we try to find out the answer to this question.
The downfall of the Al Khalifa regime has been one of the main slogans filling the streets of Bahrain for the past 4 years. It was on February 14, 2011, when rallies broke out in the Persian Gulf Kingdom demanding change, freedom, and equality. The demonstrators faced a harsh crackdown soon after the revolution began. Even troops and armored vehicles from neighboring Saudi Arabia entered Bahrain to help in the crackdown, which has left scores of people dead so far. Many of them died under torture in prison. The crackdown has also put thousands behind bars, including prominent opposition figures and human rights activists. A large number of Bahrainis have been stripped of their citizenship, and many more lost their jobs for taking part in anti-regime rallies. Pro-democracy protests, however, have continued unabated as authorities turn a deaf ear to the protesters' demands.
Unfortunately, the government did not meet any of the demand, the legitimate demand on democracy, human rights, and justice, on parliament or in the elected government. And rather than that, we have seen a lot of setback, a lot of laws being created that violate human rights, a lot of repression, more excessive use of force by military or by security institutions towards.
Nabil Rajab has been in prison for the past 2 years for taking part in anti-regime rallies. He says the protesters demonstrate for what they call the misuse of power in their country.
The misuse of power, and that's why we are in the street. That's why we are struggling for a change. We are struggling for justice to be applied, for such system not to continue ruling us as they did in the past 200 years.
Anti-regime rallies have escalated over the past weeks following the detention of senior opposition figure Sheikh Ali Salman on December 28 last year. Salman is the Secretary General of Bahrain's largest Shia opposition bloc, Al-Wifaq, and is accused of seeking to topple the regime, a charge he denies. He remains in custody despite calls for his release from inside and outside Bahrain. The Manama regime has also kept silent on calls to stop crushing dissent. The protesters say they will stand against repression and keep up their peaceful rallies until they achieve their goals.
I'd like to welcome my guests to the program out of London. Former Bahraini MP, Mr. Jalal Fairouz. And out of Beirut, international consultant, Mr. Jihad Morkadeh. Thank you both for being with us. Well, let's start this off in Beirut with Mr. Morkadeh. Do you think Bahrain's royal family's crackdown has been justified?
It's a very difficult question. I mean, when is a crackdown justified, when is a crackdown not justified? If I look around the countries in the Middle East, there have been crackdowns all over the place. And I think the crackdown in Bahrain has been softer than crackdowns in other areas of the Middle East, including Syria, for example, or Iraq, not to mention other countries as well. So whether it is justified, no crackdown is justified by itself. But reestablishing the rule of law and trying to fight against disturbances in the streets and so on and so forth, this is the rule or the necessity of any government to crack down on these kinds of things.
Okay, what about that, Mr. Fairouz? It is the necessity of any government to crack down on things. This is what our guest in Beirut has said.
Greetings to you, the viewers, and your guest, Mr. Jihad in Beirut. I'm very astonished that your guest is saying that the crackdown in Bahrain has been soft. You can see that with all the killings which is happening, with inside the prison, being the people are being tortured, and the bodies being given to their relatives, and also the mosques being smashed and destroyed, women being jailed, and so forth. When Mr. Jihad compares Bahrain to the other countries, he has to also see that in Syria there is armed struggle against the state, and also in Iraq there is all these bombings and killings every day. Tens of Iraqis are being killed with bombs. So if there is any counterattack, for example, by the states, which of course I do not agree of any brutality by any state against the people, whether it is the Iraqi state or the Syrian state or anywhere. But what you see in Bahrain, and Mr. Jihad also sees, there is no armed struggle from the people against the state. They are all carrying the Bahraini flag and going very peacefully, and that is what the whole world has said. On the other hand, on the other side, the people in Bahrain demand justice. When your guest says that the people are going against the law, now let's see what is the law. And the Royal Committee of Investigation, which the king has made, has said that the government of Bahrain and its armed forces have been brutal against the people.
Okay.
It doesn't say things that the people have been. So it is mentioning that the government has not been abiding by the law.
Fair share of time to both of you. Mr. Morkandi, what about what our guest in London says, that there is a difference? Because what we're seeing in Bahrain has just been peaceful protests. The people are not armed. They're just asking for their equal rights and going out on the streets to demonstrate. Do they not, as citizens of that country, have that right?
Citizens from any country have the right to demonstrate. But all I can say is that people demonstrated peacefully in Syria. People demonstrated peacefully in also other countries in the Middle East after elections. And the way they were dealt with was much stronger than the way Bahrain is dealing. I'm not saying that what Bahrain is doing is right. I'm saying that it is less aggressive than what others have been saying.
Mr. Morkandi, we're talking about 4 years. Mr. Morkandi, we're talking about 4 years of constant struggle by the Bahraini people. You say that it has been less severe. We have seen that the regime has brought in troops from outside of the country to deal with its own citizens, and we have seen many Bahrainis being stripped of their citizenship. How can you say that it's a soft approach to dealing with peaceful protesters, sir?
Very easy answer. Very easy answer. The people in Bahrain who are demonstrating have brought in foreign assistance, foreign arms, and have been supported by foreign powers in the region. So for the government of Bahrain, which is a legitimate government after all, to call on the government of Saudi Arabia to send the National Guard of Saudi Arabia under a common defense treaty is a perfectly normal thing, considering that those who are demonstrating are being armed and financed by regional powers.
What about that, Mr. Fayrouz, being armed by regional powers, the peaceful protesters in Bahrain? How do you see it, sir?
I believe Mr. Jihad has been misled. I demand that he goes on YouTube and shows me if there is any piece of arm being supplied to the people of Bahrain. show me a piece of arm which the people of Bahrain has used in their struggle. It is a shame to say that they have called for foreign interference. The people of Bahrain has been all alone. You see, the government of Bahrain has brought forces from Jordan, from where Mr. Jihad belongs, Al-Darak Al-Urduni, the Urdunian forces, and also from UAE. And in Bahrain, the Basuni, the BICI, the Royal Committee has said there is no single evidence that there has been any external interference.
Okay, what about that, Mr. Morikande? Mr. Morikande, so sorry, Mr. Favors. What about that, Mr. Morikande? Have you seen any video? Have you seen any weapons in the hands of protesters? However, we have seen many protesters being shot, being hit by bird pellets, especially the last couple of days. So tell me what you have seen.
I'm going to be honest with you. First of all, for lethal weapons to be in the hands of the government authorities, it is absolutely normal.
But is it normal to use it against your people?
So it is normally the legal authorities who are going to shoot.
Is it normal to use it with ease against the people? That is the question, sir.
Is it normal to use it in Syria?
Well, the debate, I believe the debate is about...
there are powers who are supporting Syria to do just that.
Why are you bringing Syria in the situation of Bahrain?
The same powers who are supporting the people in Bahrain are supporting the people in Syria.
Sir, the question is about what is happening in Bahrain. Is it normal for them to do it? Go ahead, London. You want to say something, Mr. Fayrouz?
May I? Yeah. May I say a thing to Mr. Jihad? I don't agree any brutality from any government against its people. And I don't think Mr. Jihad agrees that the Jordanian police uses these bird shots and kills the Jordanian, his fellow Jordanians. I don't think he will agree with that. I don't think he agrees that the Jordanian police takes the activists in jail and kill them and then give their bodies to their... I certainly don't agree any brutality from the Syrian government against the people of Syria. But why would Mr. Jihad blame us as Bahraini who have been very much killed? Why would Mr. Jihad will not stand by the right? I don't understand it really.
Okay, well, let's move on. Well, Mr. Morikande, do you think... you want to comment? Go ahead, sir.
I wanted to answer, but go ahead. No, I just wanted to say that I fully agree that I am against violence by definition. Okay? However, when you have a problem with law and order, you have to deal with it in a certain way. In Bahrain, it so happens that the police is Jordanian and Pakistani. Here you go. Am I against violence? Of course I am against violence, but...
Okay, so Mr. Morikande, you say it just happens that the police in Bahrain right now are Jordanian and Pakistani. However, the majority of the people on the street, of course, are native Bahrainis who are demanding a representative government. Is there requests, something odd in this day and age to demand a representative government?
Theoretically, it is not odd at all. But practically, in the countries of the Middle East, or in certain countries in the Middle East, whether it is the Gulf states, in Iraq, or in Iran, or in Saudi Arabia, you do not have a representative government. This is due to the fact that this is the structure of the society. So, yes,
sir, you're saying the structure
if Bahrain
of society
was put in Europe,
you're
you
saying
would
the
want
structure
a
of
representative
society,
government.
Sir, you're saying the structure of society in these regions then support dictatorships, support monarchies to control them, to repress them?
Take the example of Iraq. Take the example of Iraq. What did they do with the Sunnis in Iraq? When Nouri al-Maliki was elected, what did he do with the Sunnis in Iraq?
Mr. Morkade, please stay on the subject of Bahrain.
Okay.
We can get on many other topics right now from
I
all
am
over
saying
the
on
world.
the subject of Bahrain.
The topic at hand is what is happening in Bahrain,
I am saying on the subject
sir.
of Bahrain to explain to you that what is happening in Bahrain is similar to what is happening in Iraq, similar to what is happening in Saudi Arabia, in all the countries in the region.
Okay, well, going back to
London. So you cannot single out Bahrain and say, no, but this country should be European.
Argument, Mr. Fayrouz, if based on Mr. Morkade's premise that all the countries in the region are exerting violence and killing their people, then I guess basically he's saying that it's okay in Bahrain too. So what is the main demand of your people in Bahrain right now?
Not what I said.
See,
I didn't say it's okay.
You see, everywhere. Okay, it's not fair to compare whatever is going on elsewhere to Bahrain. Bahraini people have been very peaceful by the witnessing of all the international community. They are saying that this is the only peaceful. See, just only today in the Guardian of London, it was saying that the title was The Muted Revolution, and it said that they have been very peaceful, unlike other Arab Spring revolutions, but they have been faced with very much brutality. I don't believe that Mr. Jihad accepts of all the brutality which the regime of Bahrain is acting against the people, and I don't think he will agree that
of course not.
Of course not.
I said it already.
Has been requested. Yes. Let me just continue this particular point, and I'll let you speak, please. The International Human Rights Council has asked Bahrain to remedy things. The international, also the Basuni government, have requested that all the officers and the Bahraini government personnel who have tortured and killed people to be prosecuted. All the atrocities being committed to be looked after, to include all parts of people of Bahrain in the armed forces, not to exclude, for example, a certain number of people, part of the people.
Okay.
So I don't think that it is logical to our conscience as human beings, not to say we are all Arabs, we are all for the best of the right, will agree to say that Mr. Jihad just said twice that because the people are going against the law. You see, when the government of Bahrain doesn't allow the people of Bahrain to demonstrate, even though
let me
it
just
is a constitutional
let me pick up on that sentence,
decree.
Mr. Fayrouz. What about that, Mr. Morkade? As he said, when you're saying that the people are going against the law, but when the government itself does not allow demonstrations, I think it has been proven that the demonstrators have been peaceful in the 4 years. So what should they do if they're not happy with the regime that they're living under?
Well, let me put to you this way. If you have a government in a country and the government puts laws have to be obeyed.
No matter what.
And this happens all over the place.
No matter what, even if the government is unjust,
So if demonstrations... No, just a second. If you break the law in any country in the world, you get punished for it. Now, the way they are being punished in Bahrain may be excessive, but you get punished. If they have forbidden demonstration, then there are no demonstration. You asked me the question, what do they do instead? They negotiate.
All right, and turning to London, sir, your perspective now, turning back to London, your perspective, sir. So he said that basically, Mr. Morkade said that what you need to do is negotiate and obey the laws no matter if it's a just ruler or not. Your take, what needs to be done right now in your country?
Absolutely. I really thank Mr. Jihad. Yes, he is very much right. There has to be negotiation. This is what the opposition has been demanding all along, but the government doesn't want. You see, just a month ago, after the elections, the Ministry of Information of Bahrain said that there won't be any negotiation. Anyone wants to talk to the government, he should have participated in the election or whatever, which was of course a decorative, and it was a shame really. And you see, even last year, in January 2014, there was initiation of a dialogue, but of course the government has stopped it, killed it in its infancy. So it is of course the right path for everything is to go for the dialogue, but also I don't think you will agree that any law is agreed on. It's not. Some laws are brutal. The Human Rights Council said that some laws in Bahrain contradict the international law, and they are against
I'm so sorry. On that note,
humanity.
I'm so sorry, but we are out of time. I appreciate both of you being with us. Out of London, former Bahraini MP, Mr. Jalal Fayrouz, and out of Beirut, international consultant, Mr. Jihad Morghadeh. And as always, viewers, it's a pleasure having you with us on another debate. I'm Marzeh Hashemi, signing out for myself and all the crew right here in Tehran. Thank you and goodbye.